as a Formula One fan, as well as a self awareness coach, this has been a very interesting weekend for me. Post Hungarian Grand Prix and watching Lewis Hamilton in his interviews literally saying, I am useless, and giving the indication that if there's anything that Ferrari should do to make a difference to the team and to his performance is to replace him as the driver. As someone who works with personality blueprints and who works into the birth chart of people, it was heart wrenching to see. And obviously, now there was curiosity as to see what level of vulnerability allowed that voice to step up for Lewis Hamilton. And that is what I want to explore. It would always be where the moon sign is, where you wear your heart on your sleeve, and when you get to the depth and the core of everything, what happens emotionally for you. If you haven't worked with me before, I am Jodine Sher. I am the co owner of Lifeology, and we do everything people development. We are really focused on guiding you to understand who you are because once you have self awareness, you can navigate absolutely anything. I use the tools of numerology, astrology, tarot. I've been studying metaphysics for so many years. This is work that I have been doing for over 3 decades. So, with that, let's have a look at Lewis Hamilton and his Cancer moon. So, that means that at the time of his birth, the moon was in Cancer. And the one thing that's so important to understand about Cancer is that it's such a nurturing sign. It's very, very nurturing when it's in the moon. It's very, very nurturing and caring for everybody else. And there is a lot of care taken, a lot of commitment, and a lot of dedication that is taken to whatever you, as the Cancer moon, would have pride in. And we know how much pride Lewis Hamilton has in what he does. So to get to a point where this is not an isolated incident, since he has joined Ferrari, he has not had a good time at all. He has not been on the podium. He has not had good placements in any of the starts of the races, and he just has been underperforming. His frustration is that his teammate is not underperforming, and he was even on pole position for that particular race. So when you understand that the moon sign can really wear disappointment like literally on your sleeve, it makes so much sense. um, it's very typical of the moon sign, which is the archetype of the caregiver, to have a look at everybody else and just see their perceived failures as the worst failures that it possibly could be. Their emotional world is absolutely tied so closely to their purpose, to their loyalty, and to how they create their inner security. So, when they are feeling like they are not enough, then their whole internal world can wobble. And in really low self esteem, the moon sign will just spill all of their emotional vulnerability when it is in Cancer. And that's exactly what we witnessed with Lewis when he spoke so loudly with so much emotional pain. He didn't care that in the moment maybe some other people felt uncomfortable that he was saying it, or how much attention was being drawn to him by saying it, because his wound and his vulnerability had just become literally irrational. But there's one thing that's for sure, that we got to see how he really felt about himself in that moment. He wasn't doing it to gain attention. We saw the rawness of Cancer moon at a really low self esteem point. And his moon sign is in the eighth house, and that is the life theme of power. It's how you empower, how you transform, and how you explore into your psychological depths. So, even with that, when the moon is there and it impacts the eighth house, the life lesson really becomes about understanding your inner power and how to hold on to your inner power. We have seen that so much in his success story. But in the low esteem, it can show up as really giving away power too quickly or assuming blame unnecessarily. Uh, but it can really go into like collapsing inwards when it feels like all that control has been lost. And there can be this unspoken belief that to really remain cared for or to remain safe, then there's got to be some kind of sacrifice of personal growth. And that's exactly what he was saying. Rather say Ferrari and get me out of the way is exactly what he was saying. And it can feel so powerless to someone who looks like Lewis Hamilton in the moment. But what's really playing out is this raw declaration of how he believed he he should have almost been punished for not playing the part that he believes he absolutely has the ability to play. We really got to witness Cancer Moon. It doesn't spare the athlete that's born under this influence. There's no ability to emotionally detach for someone who has this Cancer Moon. And we saw it with Hamilton, that this this is how the Cancer Moon plays out when it is in your personality blueprint, that appearances fall away and emotional turmoil comes to the surface when you get pushed to that point. So it was really heart wrenching for me to see, and I can also see the people who have stepped up and who are so willing to support him, which is exactly what Cancer Moon needs. They are so good as the caregiver to support everybody else, but then it's so important for them to be open to leaning into the people who are willing to support them. So if you know where your moon sign is at the time of your birth, then you will be able to understand how you navigate your emotional well-being. But most people don't know what their moon sign is, and they just reflect everything into their sun sign, and they are trying to navigate their emotional well-being through their sun sign, not realizing that it's actually the moon that holds that emotional power. So, and when you begin responding from the an understanding of what that moon sign has within traits and behaviors that define you, then everything absolutely starts to make emotional sense. So if you are curious about this in any way, please reach out to me. If I can support you in any way to grow your self awareness through numerology, tarot, astrology, then please reach out to me, especially if you don't know what that means, but you know that there's a part of you that is curious about yourself. Also, if you can like and follow and just keep up with everything that I'm doing, so much of how I work is as I sense into what you need, I create the content around what you need. Also, if there's anyone who you are interested in, a celebrity, a sports person, a singer, an actor, a politician with some sensitivity, then just drop me a line. And I absolutely love doing this. So I would absolutely love to give you some insight into someone who you are curious about. If I can support you in any way to grow your self awareness through numerology, tarot, astrology, then please reach out to me, especially if you don't know what that means, but you know that there's a part of you that is curious about yourself. Also, if you can like and follow and just keep up with everything that I'm doing, so much of how I work is as I sense into what you need, I create the content around what you need. Also, if there's anyone who you are interested in, a celebrity, a sports person, a singer, an actor, then just drop me a line. And I absolutely love doing this. So I would absolutely love to give you some insight into someone who you are curious about.